The gaps at this stage will be kind of irrelevant to him because he'll just keep pressing on anyway. Ding, 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 he has 1 lap to go. And we will, of course, give you a nice, accurate measure on this man, Mathieu van der Poel, as he comes through what is now teeming rain and spraying wet, deep sand. We cannot question his commitment today at all, Ian, can we? He might have had a bit of a rough time with his back over the last couple of laps. He's been stretching it out, and he's looked decidedly cheesed off at points as well. He's made also a couple of mistakes, as I'm sure most of them have in these conditions. But commitment has been there throughout.
Yeah, huge commitment to carry on when clearly you're not on a great day. Your body's hurting, you're tired from all the races that you've done recently, and you've seen your big rival ride away from you. But continuing on, and yeah, seems to be fairly comfortable now in second place.
This does, as I said, kind of bookend the Christmas and New Year racing season, which has been so busy, particularly with the X²O Badkamers Trophy, that's had 3 rounds since the turn of the year. This is the 3rd round since the start of January. And it's been a very, very busy racing time for these guys in particular. Has to be said, though, some of them started their seasons a bit later. For the likes of Elizabeth, Lars van der Haar and Laurens Sweet, they've been racing since the beginning of, pretty much beginning of September.
Yeah, it's going to feel a long season to those cross guys that have been racing since September. But yeah, well over a minute back to Van der Poel now. This is going to be one of the biggest winning margins we've seen for a good number of years now.
Yeah, big gap. 1 minute 16 was the last time we saw it through. And Laurens Sweek still battling with that right eye. There's no doubt about it. And he's had sand in that right eye since about lap 2, wasn't it? Lap 2 or 3, when it was probably sprayed up by the back wheel of Van der Poel, I'd have thought.
Yeah, having ridden KOKSIJDE in the wet before, you're definitely getting sand out your eyes for the next couple of days even. You wake up and your eyes are all scratchy and horrible. And yeah, one of those things you have to deal with.
Yes, you need to, may I remind people at home, sand is what's used to make glass. So it's not funny, is it, getting sand in your eyes? You want to do it too regularly because it can't be good for you. There we go. Ian, can you see me? Can you see me? No, he's looking straight through me. No, that's what it does to you. Look, we're sat in the same room. We can't even see where I am. Well, Van Aert still, although he still looks, well, he definitely looks the best of the 3, doesn't he? The leading 3, no doubt about it, which is why he is in the lead. And listen to that crowd. I'm going to shut up and let you hear them. What a place to be on a Thursday afternoon in January. This is Pim Ronhaar, another of those young talents who's looking very promising at the front end of this race. He is currently sitting in 6th place.
Yeah, good ride from Ronhaar today.
Just behind him, Niels van der Putte and Jens Adams in the unfortunate white colours now. Might see a little battle between those two for the final sprint, but the rest are all spread out now. This attritional, now deep running, sapping course has opened up some big gaps between them and everyone. This is Gerben Kuipers, also out by himself now, looking to maintain position. I'm sure for all these riders now, it would mostly be about trying not to get caught and stay where they are over this, the closing lap of 8. Dan Suter of the Den Hatch Mace Hens Containers team in the blue and yellow. Haven't seen too much of him so far. This is Toon van der Bosch, who was leading the race on that opening lap. They led for most of the first half of the lap, in actual fact. Felipe Orts, the Spanish champion, coming across the line in the red and yellow Spanish colours. Let's look at how this battle is going on between these two.
Timo Kielik doing a good ride, coming from the back of the grid on a course like today with 69 riders in the race is no mean feat, up to 13th place. But here's that battle for the overall. Can Van der Haar close this down over the last lap?
Well, even if he does, it's looking like it's going to do nothing to the overall battle between these two in terms of the X²O Badkamers Trophy. But they do have 3 more rounds after this, and to battle out what is an important series in the sport of cyclocross. It has been for a long time now. That is a steep run up to there, isn't it? From a long way off, you can be, it's easy to underestimate how tough that is. It's not far off the sort of height and ramp of a BMX start ramp, is it? Effectively, it's very similar. Except you're on a bike which is covered in sand and lacking in grip.
See if Wout van Aert can ride this final real tough section of sand just to show his strength. A little shake of the head. I'm sure he'd have wanted to just for the TV cameras.
And Lars van der Haar still looking like he's sprightly, kicking out of that corner too.
Not giving up, as we see Wout van Aert through the final pit section. That just leaves him the Albert Dune to go. A little thumbs up to the pit crew. They did a fantastic job today. He relayed that information across to them, what he wanted changing with that bike. Took that bike change, and more or less from that point on, once he hit the front of the bike race, there was no bringing him back.
So we're eating our way through this final lap. Mathieu van der Poel, Wout van Aert will survive. We had a proper locking of horns between them for the first 3 or 4 laps, and then the form and the current impetus at the top of our sport started to take its effect. Laurens Sweeck's problems really started with him. I'm not saying this is the reason, but there was a moment around about the point which he got the sand in the eye that he started rubbing it, and then the pressure was laid on by these two. Wout van Aert making a really big attack that started to crack things open, and then the gaps opened up between the three. That big duck has seen an awful lot of top-level racing today. It's been another great DUINENCROSS. I hope you've enjoyed it at home, here at the home of cycling, Eurosport GCN. So much more to come yet in this cyclocross season. As I say, the road season just about to get underway as well, overlapping the two as they do now.
He's a bit opening up that gap now, back to Lars van der Haar.
Yes, it's definitely opening up, isn't it?
He's a bit last year's winner. Van der Haar only 5th last year. Looks like he's going to have the same today.
Yeah, the gap back to Pim Ronhaar and then Jens Adams and Niels van der Putte much closer. The potential for that one to come together a little bit over this final lap if things swing in the favour of van der Putte, who also had a very good start. He was right up there. These riders all finishing inside the top 10. Dan Suter sitting in 9th currently. Gerben Kuipers with yet another strong ride in amongst some of the world's best professionals. Still working in a factory, Gerben Kuipers, and looking to see if he can get that professional contract. I mean, he can go full-time and fully concentrate on his training and racing. And yet another top 10 placing at this level will put that into perspective, that's for sure. Here's a man in form. What a brilliant Christmas and New Year period he's had. Wout van Aert, the Belgian champion, is going to be our champion here today at the KOKSIJDE Flemish DUINENCROSS. What a performance. Bang, bang, an uppercut. He knows the direction he is headed. A psychological blow over his big rival, Mathieu van der Poel. And a brilliant performance in front of a Belgian crowd who were absolutely loving it, Ian.
They certainly did. Saw their big champion take that win today very convincingly. One of the most convincing rides we've seen in this Christmas period. Looks like he went on to the full Typhoon tread, so the intermediate tread, so he did kind of go up in grip as such after starting on those full file treads, the Pipistrello from Dugast.
So Mathieu van der Poel for 2nd place is going to come in somewhere around about 1.25 minutes, maybe 1 minute and 10 down. Let's see the final gap as he comes to the line. Battling on. Couple of mistakes maybe along the way, and that big back stretch indicative of the pressure he's put on himself. I did wonder, as we're getting towards half distance, Ian, whether these two were going to come to the line together, but it's just the way things have rolled out. Wout van Aert and the run-up over Christmas has shown it. I've got it all up on the wall alongside me. WVA is written at the top far more times than Mathieu van der Poel is, and yet they've been so close in these battles. We are blessed, aren't we, to have those two, and Tom Pidcock at the top of the men's sport in particular, battling it out between them.
We certainly are, as we see that time gap ticking up, well over 1.5 minutes back to Mathieu van der Poel. Won't be happy, but I'm sure he'll put it behind him, go away, work hard, and come back when it really, really matters. KOKSIJDE World Championships, beginning of February.
Let me remind people at home that KOKSIJDE course is where the Adrie van der Poel race is held every year. Adrie, of course, his dad, a former world cyclocross champion. And we see Laurens Sweeck continually blinking that right eye. But another fantastic podium position for the man who's made yet another big step up this year for Krelan Fristads. And a good ride by Elie Iserbyt there, closing right up on him too. That gap was much closer come the finish.
Racing for that overall really forced Iserbyt and Lars van der Haar forward in comparison to Sweeck, who fell well down.
So Elie Iserbyt has taken another little bit more time over Lars van der Haar and extended his lead ever so slightly. It'll be in excess of 5 hours of racing now in this X²O Badkamers Trofee.
Here we see that close race that you mentioned. Van der Putter looks like he's got the better of Ron Haar.
Oh, he knows it's race on, though. You can see from the way he's kicking through that slidey corner. And Jens Adams chasing him down as well. Pim Ron Haar just starting to get distance. Niels van der Putter will want to hold on to this after a really strong race by him.
Jens Adams racing for that overall. He's third overall, 5 minutes 36 back, but will be wanting to put time into the riders behind him as such to hold on to that podium position overall.